Evening all, welcome to Space Engineers. There we go, look at that, did you see that? Ugh, very quick. There we go, look, blah, 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 blah. It's shooting asteroids, or meteorites. I keep calling it asteroids, they're meteorites. The ship will automatically lock on to any threat coming at it. Now, the only threat in the game is actually still just meteorites, so that was really cool. But this is a defense against them, so this is quite a nice thing that it's doing it. So as we retreat from under our rock once more, we come out into the open and we're going to go and attack, I don't know, something. That'll do, private cell, that'll do. But what we're going to do is we're just going to show a little bit more of the ship, how it's working, the fact that the Gatling guns are now obviously then online. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about what the plans for the ship are going to be. Now, step one is quite honestly, we're going to make the hangar deck on the front of this go. We're not going to keep it as a hangar deck because every time I fly this ship around, the hangar deck gets destroyed by a ship just literally losing its landing gear and flying into the hull. So those days are done. We're not going to use this as a carrier at all. We will have maybe the ability to latch on things outside the ship, but then if they fall off, they fall off. I'm not going to cry a tear for it, you know what I mean? I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think also we're going to look probably again at the way that we build the internals and the way we use rooms, because currently we've got a lot of empty rooms that don't really do anything. And I think that has to kind of end. We need to figure out how we're going to make them work better than maybe they do now. I think also we're going to have to really look at heavy armor at some point as well. So I think I'm going to have to go and just do a massive mining exposition to get loads of iron in, because I think the worst thing that will happen is that I'm attacked and then they destroy my reactors. I mean, that would kill the ship as well. So I think generally I'm quite fearful that I'm going to lose this beautiful ship that I've created, because who knows what is going to come into the game next. Now that Gatling guns are there, I imagine missiles will soon be there as well. And then I just have this horrible feeling that the next step is going to be some kind of very serious hostile that will come and do us significant damage. So, that's my fear at the moment. I think while we kind of have these decoy modules at the moment, I think that's fine. But I think eventually these things are going to come on the NPC ships as well as maybe something to shoot. I don't know, but I hope there is a targeting system on its way. I really do, because I think that at the moment that's the missing piece. At the moment they've made a mechanic that works, it just shoots the block, that's fine. The next step I would have thought would have been the intelligence of the guns to then target parts of the ship. So fingers crossed for that. That'd be pretty awesome, I think you'll agree. So as I fly back to my flagship, I realise I probably left that without the parking brake on, so it's probably rolled downhill a bit, but further away from the asteroids you don't have to worry about stuff like that, so it's quite nice. I'm really finding that this game is about building a ship, falling in love with that ship. Look at this as we approach, as the sun sets over our ship. Oh my god, isn't it just gorgeous? Love it. And I just think the game is so clever. It really has made me love this flagship so much that I know I'm going to be broken as a man when it does get destroyed, or when a big battle happens and I have to spend a day repairing it. But you know what? I'll spend a day repairing it with a great big smile on my face, because I think that's kind of the thing that I'm really hoping comes next, is a bit of proper NPC battle, versus something. I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's just going to be amazing. So we go. Now, this kind of went a bit wrong there, because as I went to go and shoot that private sail, it disappeared. It despawned. So, unless I'm missing things. But, oh, look, a military escort came along. So we're going to use that instead. Now, imagine having some of these just hovering around your main flagship. This would be nice, wouldn't it? So you could just park your flagship and then have sentries, proper destroyers. That's really what destroyers did, is they were they defended the cruisers. They were there to kind of keep the smaller picket ships, and the smaller kind of destroyers are generally small ships. They were there to really kind of move and defend and do damage. So I'm really excited to see the thought of this sort of thing. Now, that may be what we build next, is we build a fleet. Instead of just having one ship, we have our flagship, and then we have smaller ships like this that just have a simple function to them to defend, and they could sit at a perimeter to these ships and then defend it. Now, I do like the thought of that, because eventually I think one of the things I'm really keen to see is we're going to have to build a station, because we've already got so many vessels that we've built, but we kind of need that I don't think we're going to store in the flagship. So I think, we will probably construct a station. And this station will then obviously have its defense perimeter defenses. But what we're then going to have to do is to build like static turrets in a kind of structure around it. So these things will then obviously, look at that, it's trying to shoot the block. Isn't that gorgeous? But these things will then effectively be, something that we then build that have a structure around it. So now that's interesting. That gun's firing without ammo. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe it's because I'm in creative. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But I think this is going to be something that I really do think we're going to have to look at now, because you're going to have to build basically a safe zone so that it firstly defends against meteorites, but secondly defends against anything. And I like the thought of it. So you've got your station in the middle, and then up, down, left, right, front and back in all 3 dimensions. You then have all of the stationary kind of turret blocks with its own reactor, its own suit, but they're effectively just stationary. They're just like mini stations. So I really, really can't wait to do that as well. But again, just getting the time to do that would be quite exceptional. We may do it in creative. I know that sucks, but we'll just do it as a one-off thing just to do. So there we go. Our military escort is now ready to be attacked, and let's go fire at it. Now, again, our guns only kick in at a range of 800 meters. So currently we're just sat outside of the range of these things. But as we start to draw closer, the SquadB vessel will then sense that there's something to shoot at, and it'll start firing. And here is where I think, again, the game gets quite interesting, is how would these two vessels... So there we go, something's locked on, and we're starting to fire. And then any moment now, you'll see our mighty turrets kick into life. Oh, it's just so good. Look at that. So there we go. The front turrets are now in range. And then turrets then getting in further range. Daka, 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 daka. Love it. Now, because we've got our vessel basically has turrets on 2 sides. Look at that. So we've actually got our turrets shooting from 2 sides. If we maybe angled a bit more sensibly, we could get all 3 sides firing, but we'd have to angle with the top of the ship looking directly up at the target, if that makes sense. Or I guess perpendicular to the target. But this would be effectively what we need. But we'll do that another time. I think for now this was just to see how well. Look at that! I just love it. Oh my god, it's so childish, but I love it. It's just so fun. Well, I'm keeping the engines on as well, so we're actually going to fly around this thing. So I've turned the inertia dampener off just to show you that you can track as well. But look at that! Isn't that glorious? And then eventually, boom! There we go. Love it. God, I love it. Now, this thing is obviously blown up because we rigged it again with a warhead. But again, in theory, you would not have that problem when you have the ability to actually target various systems. So you could hopefully at some point in the near future say that military escort is hostile. So then your ship immediately then will lock onto it. And then I really do hope you have the ability to then shoot its engines out, shoot its guns out, and then go and attack it, board it almost, and just lock onto it, clamp onto it, and then just board it. You could do a real superstar destroyer thing where it just locks onto it, and then you kind of absorb it into your hold, and then close your hangar doors around it, and then everybody just then storms it. Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh, so good. So there we go. Looking for even from a distance, it looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? And this look pretty awesome. I love Gatling guns. I love any guns that just feel like miniguns firing. I just think that's amazing. And that ship's destroyed entirely. It's looking pretty cool. And there we go. Daka, 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 daka. And then the shots fire. Oh, the nerd in me is just absolutely squeeing at all this because it's just so cool, and I really am quite curious to see what more is coming. However, there you go. That's why we're not going to have a hangar anymore on this ship, because I'm tired of repairing this stuff. That was our bomber, basically. As we decelerated, our bomber's landing gear gave up, and it hit the front of the ship so hard. I mean, it's lucky it didn't take an engine out, because that would have been a major pain in the ass to do. But yeah, it actually just blew a hole in the ship. So that's and I did know it was the destroyer, the bomber rather, because it's completely disappeared. So I know that it was that. But yeah, that's it's getting annoying having to do this all the time. But we'll see. But eventually, this will be exactly the kind of damage that you'll repair after a fight. So you'll start to get fights like this, where the armor will be the only thing, because there's no shields yet. And the armor will be the only thing that obviously keeps your internals from, being destroyed. So I think this is going to be quite interesting to see, how how they do this. So I'm really, really curious to see how they're going to, make this work. But already I'm loving it. I do think we're going to have to do a major session where we build this out of heavy armor blocks, or maybe just, strategically patch in heavy armor blocks, because at the moment it's all light armor and it's very, very weak indeed. And there we go. Just get this right. I can never get this bloody angling right. There we go. And then we just have to paint it, but then again, we'll do that another time. It looks like a nicely fresh, patched up thing, doesn't it? But yeah, so, this vessel is coming of age, and it's becoming quite a powerful thing. The automated turret system is lovely. Okay, so we know that we never need to worry about ammo. That works beautifully. When missiles come into the game, we have exactly the same for the missiles as well. So this is also, that can look in pretty good as well. So I would say that the next thing we need to focus on is going to be the armoring of this thing, and also just changing the function of a lot of it, because having the refinery at the bottom of the ship doesn't make much sense anymore. So we're going to maybe move that forward. I think we're going to maybe put more guns on it, and I think just generally we're going to armor this even more, because I want this thing to be very, very fundamentally strong ship, and I do not want to have to fear that as soon as something hostile comes into the game, such as, hey guys, you'll now get raiding parties, I want it to be completely ready. So the next time is going to be internal turrets. Look at that, 100 clips of ammo into the hopper, and everything is rearmed. Oh, I just love it. I love it so much. So if you go to inventory, you'll see what I mean. So if I press I, there we go. So you see all the Gatling turrets are then armed, and it's just gone throughout the entire system and filled them all. Now, 1 or 2 Gatling turrets aren't still connected, so I need to look at that. But in essence, this is pretty much job done. And there we go. Oh, so good. Look at all these Gatling turrets arming themselves. It's great. Now, again, for some reason, they don't all do it immediately, but I guess that's just time. It just takes time. Maybe it's because they've already got some shots still in them. I don't know. But it's working really nicely. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. This has been a hell of a pleasure to do, and we're going to keep going. So post in the comments if you have some suggestions, but join us next time when we'll continue to build our mighty warship of doom.